The capital city, Mogadishu, seemingly a city under siege after at least 17 people were killed in explosions that were later followed by heavy gunfire. Let's bring you the very latest on that story now with CGTN's Abdulaziz Billow. He joins us live from Mogadishu. Abdulaziz, what more can you tell us? We understand there's been explosions, some gunfire. What was the nature of this attack? And just give us an update on the casualties.
Well, Lindy, that was a coordinated attack that took place today in Mogadishu. Three devastating explosions, all of them vehicles fitted with explosives, and they targeted three different institutions, but with one main objective, that of seizing Hotel Sahafi that is opposite the CID headquarters here in Mogadishu. So what exactly happened is that the first explosion, that was the biggest, targeted the main entrance to Sahafi Hotel, and after that a second explosion went off out the opposite side of the door, and the third explosion was coming from a vehicle that gunmen had alighted from. So it was a coordinated attack with one objective, that of seizing Hotel Sahafi. So according to the emergency operator ambulance, they're saying that they have carried more than 10 bodies to the city hospitals, and more than 50 people have been hospitalized with serious injuries. So as we are speaking right now, emergency care operators and the police and security officials are still on the scene there to assess the impact of that attack, Lindy.
Abdulaziz, as you rightly said, it is a devastating attack, one that had a very specific target. And of course, it marks a very significant breach of security in Mogadishu. Has any group claimed responsibility as yet?
Well, Lindy, before we come to this broadcast, the militant group Al-Shabaab, through their propaganda websites, they were claiming that they launched this coordinated attack, and it yielded the results that they're saying. But in this instance, apart from more than 10 people who were killed, all we can confirm right now is 4 attackers tried to storm in to that heavily fortified Hotel Sahafi that is opposite the Criminal Investigation Department headquarters here in Mogadishu. But the hotel security, who are very keen and had prior intelligence of these kind of attacks, because they were attacked in the past, were able to neutralize 4 attackers who were dressed in Somali military uniform, especially a specific kind of uniform that was given to Somali forces after the biggest explosion here in Mogadishu last year that killed more than 500 people. So the hotel guards neutralized the attackers, and Al-Shabaab is saying the target was Sahafi Hotel because it's frequented mostly by politicians and members of the Somali security forces.
Abdulaziz, I suppose part of the tragedy is that it often seems like one step forward for Somalia, but 2 steps back. I mean, just last week, the country was able to ease political tension with the resignation of the prominent politician Sharif Hassan Sheikh Aden. But now we've got this terrible attack. What's the government's reaction to today's attack?
Well, indeed, the government is still assessing the situation on the ground, because as we are speaking right now, the area has been secured, all the gunmen have been neutralized. The government security forces are trying to cordon off the area and to look if there are still more explosives are left around there so that they can destroy them. But then again, when it comes to the political tension that you've mentioned, is the prominent politician resigned yesterday because of pressure that was coming from the federal government, and because of the pressure that was coming also from regional states that had suspended ties with Mogadishu. And this is one of the things that experts have been arguing, Lindy, all along. They were saying that at the moment there's political instability here in Somalia, it's that time that the militant group Al-Shabaab takes advantage of this kind of opportunity and distraction, and that's why they cause this kind of attack. So the experts are insisting that political stability is very fundamental, so that the government cannot be sidetracked from the real objective here of securing Mogadishu and ending the militant group threat here in Somalia.
And Abdulaziz, any measures taken so far to heighten security as we speak?
Well, indeed, this attack itself on Friday today that happened here in Mogadishu ends months-long period of relative stability. So many here in the city were actually praising the security forces for their vigilance, because it's been several months since there was any incident or major attack here in Mogadishu. So this attack was a big setback to all the progress made in recent months by the Somali government, especially the President and the Prime Minister, who have been very active in the past few months, mobilizing security forces, urging them to take the lead in securing this city. So it's a big blow for security forces, but then it brings back the issue of more surveillance here in the city as to how 3 vehicles fitted with explosives managed to breach all the security parameters and come to the city center and attack a hotel that is adjacent to one of the heavily fortified institutions here belonging to the government. It remains a big question, and it's one that both the civilians and experts here will be seeking answers from security forces.
Indeed. Well, thank you so much, Abdulaziz Billow, joining us there from Mogadishu in Somalia.